Welcome back to the Xplosion Weekly Wrap-Up. You're wondering where I was?
Where am I?
I'm not even entirely sure where I was at that point. But yeah, if you're wondering where the green screen is as well, I just didn't feel like rendering it tonight. So yeah, moving on from that, we have some kind of fun little news about the Coleco Chameleon, and how the folks who actually own the Coleco Chameleon, or the Coleco brand name, have now since revoked that privilege after kind of months of drama and controversy involving this system, which has gone in these almost ridiculous ways of trying to cover their tracks and get this system produced. But if you really are pretty curious about the whole Coleco Chameleon thing, I highly suggest you go over to Gokado Retro Reviews site, who has some kind of in-depth analysis in his video about interpreting what they did, and kind of translate some of that in layman's terms from his engineer perspective. So it's pretty interesting stuff. I highly suggest you go and check that out. And also, as a direct result of the whole Coleco Chameleon thing, you have Gamester81 and Pat the NES Pug kind of going head-to-head about that whole fiasco. They've since reached out with each other and actually have kind of resolved it and hammered out the kinks with that. But it's kind of intriguing to see if that'll ever come back out of the woodwork, that it's starting as a retro VGS, moving on to the Coleco Chameleon. But now, with all the issues associated with that, I don't think it's ever coming back. If it does come back, I'd be really surprised. And I think, honestly, at this point, the Atari Jaguar shell that they bought is cursed, and it should just stay buried in the dental institution it came out of. It's probably haunted at this point. But also, in other news, you have Diablo 2 coming out with a new patch update. Almost 2 decades after the game's release. That game has some seriously loyal and dedicated fans. It's hung on there, and just has not gone away. The game's almost old enough to drink at this point, so that's pretty great. So congratulations, Diablo 2, you hung in there another year. And odds are you're going to keep going perpetually forever. And also, in some more somber news, you have LionHead Studio closing. This, unfortunately, was after some, I would imagine, fumbled things that happened with the latest Fable game. For me, I'm going to miss LionHead Studios because Black and White and Black and White 2 were 2 of my favorite titles that were just really captivating and inspiring games that I would love to see remade or resurrect with an HD remake. But only time will tell what happens to those IPs, and I wish LionHead Studios and all their staff the best in their future endeavors. They did a lot of really good work over the years, and that's a kind of somber, sad moment that studio closes. But also, The Division came out, and it smashed record sales for Ubisoft, which is kind of a good deal for them. Keeps them going forward. I'm gonna be honest, the shooter didn't really appeal to me. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just am not into him right now. So, from that point, The Division is a really good standpoint for Ubisoft and kind of had a lot of really good hype going into it, and the sales have rewarded them for that success. But alright, that kind of wraps up this week in the Console Xplosion Weekly Wrap-Up. If you have any news you wanted to share that I didn't cover, please share it in the comments below. Any feedback or anything's welcome. We really appreciate it. So, thank you for watching the Console Xplosion Weekly Wrap-Up. I'm the Historic Nerd. Have yourself a great week, and I'll see you next week.